All right, so ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how my business partner and I are able to sell $55,000 per month in life insurance. I'm literally going to be giving you guys the exact system that we're using. I'm going to show you guys how this whole thing works and how you can use this system to make more money working from home, and how to sell more life insurance, right? So this is literally a system that I've been, developing over the last 2.5, 3 years, tweaking it, making different adjustments, just constantly improving and iterating to make it better. And this is ultimately the most potent, powerful system that I've found and that we've created, right? So we're actually using this exact system ourselves to build what we ultimately want to build into a $100 million life insurance agency, which I'll touch on later in this video. But what I really just want to do is kind of just break this down for you guys so that you guys can, use this system to start making more money. So without any further ado, let's jump on into it. But before I show you guys the exact system, I want to talk about what this system has actually done and how powerful it actually is, right? So we brought on a new agent. Her name was Donna. This is kind of like a grainy screenshot of the thumbnail. We did a video with her the other day, and she was actually a brand new life insurance agent with no sales experience whatsoever. And by leveraging and using the system, she was able to make 3 sales in one single day in her first week, right? So I think this was her 3rd or 4th day ever on the phones, and she sold 3 policies in one day, right? I think it was like $2,000 in premium, which is just insane for someone with no sales experience, no life insurance experience whatsoever. Another agent that we brought on, her name is Michelle, and she actually was able to sell $7,244 in her second week on the phones. And this is 7,000 in approved business and life insurance. So the way that, life insurance sales works is you put people through what's called underwriting, and they have to get approved by the insurance company for you to get paid on this. This is business that was approved for Michelle, not just business that was written, right? Michelle actually just recently was able to pay off a credit card that she had from working this exact system, calling leads and selling policies. And now she averages about $5,000 to $7,000 every single week in sales, right? So a couple things I want you guys to kind of keep in mind and consider whenever you're using this system and learning from this process that we're using and how we're able to write this much business and make this much money, is it really comes down to focus, right? So I have this little diagram here. And on the left, you have a person that is not so focused, right? They're doing all of these different things. They're chasing all of these shiny objects, and their energy is going in all of these different ways, right? And so this person is spending the exact same amount of energy as this person on the right. But if you notice, this person on the right, all of their energy is going in one singular direction, and they're focused on one thing. So this is a perfect diagram, a perfect example of what focus actually looks like, right? So person on the right is focused. Look at how much further they're going. Whereas this person on the left, they're doing all these different things. They're taking on too much stuff. And ultimately, this person is going to go farther than this person, right? And so what I want you guys to be thinking about when I break this down is how can you focus on just doing the one thing? What is the one thing that makes you money? What is the one thing that's going to drive the needle forward in your business? And that is ultimately the approach that has allowed us to build the system. And it's the same approach that's allowed Michelle to pay off her credit card, write $7,000 a week, and for Donna to make 3 sales in one day as an agent with no sales experience, right? And there's other agents too. We brought someone on the other week, Gina. She wrote $5,600 in her second week. We had another agent, Corey, who actually just quit his 3rd shift job to start selling life insurance full time. So this stuff is extremely powerful, and it's extremely potent if you guys use this in the right way, right? And the other thing I want to talk about here is leverage, right? I'm going to be giving you guys a tool that will allow you to increase your answer rate on calls by 5x, right? So when you're calling leads, working life insurance leads, you're going to be able to 5x your answer rate with the tool I'm going to give you guys, right? So it's all about leverage. It's what is the system that I'm putting energy into that's going to increase the output, right? I can put in minimal effort, but if I have a highly leveraged system, I'm moving big weight. So the system, what that I'm about to show you guys is, it's very much based on leverage and based on focus, right? So let's actually go ahead and jump right into this. So I'm going to walk you guys through this whole thing. And for those of you that you know, you clicked on this video and you don't really know what life insurance sales is, basically what we do is we work with seniors who, are on a fixed income, or they haven't saved up enough money to pay for like a funeral, or, debts or different things. And so they will buy life insurance that will pay off that debt and pay for their funeral for their family when they pass away. So that's essentially what we're doing, right? We're selling those policies. And so this is a system that will allow you to sell a lot of that, right? And make a lot of money and help a lot of people. So in order to sell anything, especially life insurance, we're going to need leads, right? And so my go-to system, my go-to, preferred source of leads is Facebook. It's simple, it's easy, our target market is there, and all we, have to do is spend more money and make more ads, and we get people coming in, right? It's a little bit more complex than that. There's a lot that goes into it, but this is essentially like my preferred source of leads is Facebook. You can technically use whatever source you want and just plug it into the system, but this is what I prefer. So we get leads and then we put them into our CRM, right? So the CRM that we use is called Go High Level. And basically what Go High Level does is it allows you to text, call, and set up all these different automations so you can communicate with your leads and with your prospects, right? So we have all these automations that are set up in Go High Level that will do different things. I'll show you guys in just a second. But we send all of our leads to Go High Level, and this is where we store them. So as you guys can see on the right, we have this thing called Kixie, right? And so Kixie is kind of like, it's kind of like if you think about like steroids, right? It takes Go High Level and it puts it on steroids when we put Kixie on it, right? It makes Go High Level that much more effective, because what Kixie is it's a dialer, right? And so basically what it does is it increases the answer rate when we call. So you're making all of these calls. This is a perfect example of leverage, wink, wink. You're making all of these calls throughout the day, and Kixie is going to increase the output that you get for the input you put in, right? So it's going to increase the answers. So what it does is it locally wraps area codes. So if I'm in Texas and I'm calling someone in Arizona, it's going to call them with an Arizona area code. If I'm in South Carolina and I call somebody in Washington State, it's going to call them with a Washington State area code. If I'm in Pennsylvania and I call someone in California, it's going to call them with a, you got it, right? So this increases the answer rate by 5x, and it also allows us to call multiple people at a time. So if you're, doing any form of outbound dialing, whether it's insurance or whatever, and you're not using Kixie, you're losing money. It is 100%, a massive needle mover. The only downside is Kixie is a little bit expensive. It's like, I think we pay like $200 a month per user. So it can be pricey. But, if you're going to go into this and like fully go into it, it's 100% worth it, right? So Kixie is huge. So basically Kixie is going to increase our answer rates. We call all of our leads through, using Kixie. So these purple little like diamond things, these are basically like decision trees, which it sounds more complicated than it is. Basically, it's just a situation where like we can either go in one of two directions. So the lead comes in, we call them with Kixie. Do they answer? That's what the purple thing is. It's asking a question. Do they do this? If they do answer, we're going to use the life insurance sales script, which let me pull this up and show you guys. Blah, 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 blah. Here it is. So this is essentially the script that we use, right? I'll link this down below in the description, and we have like a 2-hour breakdown that shows you guys how to use the script, which I'll show you guys as well. But basically the legend here, this is basically like, if you've ever like read or looked at a map, there's like a legend that will tell you what each thing means. That's essentially what this is for the script. So if it's in this like normal like black text, that's just what you say, right? If it's in this like royal blue color here, that means that it's an action you take. And then if it's like red like this, that means that it is something you fill in the blank. So client first name, I would just put in the client first name. So Jimmy, for example. And then this like black bold text, this is just to kind of help us keep the outline of the script. So we have step 1, step 2, so on and so forth. So let me show you guys kind of like how this call intro works. Hey, is Jimmy there? right? I'll wait for a reply. Jimmy's like, who the hell is this? Jimmy, it's just Tim. I have a request you sent us here about life insurance. How's it going? Right? Wait for a reply. Oh, got it. So was this your first time looking into life insurance? Wait for a reply. Okay, got it. And what were you concerned about? Was it leaving money behind for family or just covering funeral expenses? Right? So basically, like the way the script is structured is we're starting off the call, and we want to kind of sound like a friend. We want to sound like a friend from high school, giving them a call. Hey, Jimmy, it's just Tim. I was just giving you a call about the request you sent us here about the life insurance. How's it going? I don't want to sound like a telemarketer. I don't want to go, hey, is Jimmy Smith there? Jimmy, it's Tim Shooker from Zoosurance. I was calling you because you had requested us to call you about life insurance. That's how you get hung up on, folks. You need to sound like a friend or a close acquaintance. So that's how this is structured. The next thing is you're basically asking them questions, right? This is what I call the discovery phase. We're asking them all of these questions to figure out like what is their why, right? So their why is essentially the reason that they want to buy life insurance. The only way that you're going to sell somebody anything is if you understand their motives or their why. So the why is basically made up of who are they protecting, what are they protecting that person from, and how does the life insurance protect them? So that's what I'm trying to find out here. So is this your first time looking into life insurance? This is going to kind of open things up. It's going to tell me like, hey, have they looked into this before? What are their pain points? Have they been declined? Have they charged back on someone? What's going on there? What were you concerned about? This is like what they're trying to cover. Are you trying to pay for a funeral or just leave money for your daughter? Right? What is the situation here? Okay, and just so we know exactly how much insurance to look at, did you want to do a burial or a cremation? Right? Again, we're selling funeral insurance. So we need to know these things. And was there anything else you were looking to cover, like pay off debt, pay off a car, different things like that? Then we're going to label their problem. Got it, just to make sure I'm covering my bases here. Have you ever been declined? Nope, yes, whatever. And then, hey, it looks like you listed your beneficiary here as Deborah. Is that correct? Perfect. So that makes sense. It sounds like you just want to make sure that Deborah, doesn't have to worry about paying for that funeral bill if something happens to you. Is that right? So we're essentially repeating their problem back to them. So again, I have a whole video that goes over the script. I kind of just wanted to give you guys like the brief analysis overview of it. If you guys go to our YouTube channel and then click on live, you guys will find it right here. The best final expense telesales script for 2024. It's a 2-hour and 13-minute video. It literally goes over everything you guys could possibly need to know when it comes to the script. And we even show you guys some live calls. So that's the script. Back to the system. So again, with the script, there's essentially two outcomes when somebody answers. Either we set an appointment, or there's three outcomes. We set an appointment, we sell a policy, or, they just hang up. And in the case that they hang up, they're just going to get added back to the Kixie power list, and they're going to get automations. But I'll ignore this side first. Let me first show you guys what happens if they do answer. So let's say they answer, but they can't talk right now. We set an appointment, right? So boom, we set an appointment. If they show up to the appointment, the question is, do they buy when they show up, right? If they don't show up to the appointment, we're just going to add them back to the Kixie power list, which again, hold your horses, guys. I'll explain that in just a second, I promise. But let's look at what happens if they show up to the appointment and they buy. So they show up, they book an appointment. Do they buy? Yes, they buy. Boom. So we're going to send our clients a handwritten letter to help with retention. We're also going to send them payment reminders to make sure that they pay their bill. I cannot stress how huge this is to have a system to send your clients payment reminders. This is like game changers, guys. Remind them to pay their bill, and you will save yourself so much money and so much time. It's insane. So again, that's what happens if they ultimately buy. We send them the handwritten letter, and then we send them payment reminders. So let's say they book the appointment, but they don't buy, right? So what the hell is this Kixie power list? What are these automations? What does this actually look like? What does this mean? So basically, the Kixie power list is inside of Kixie. You can use it as a dialer within Go High Level, and then you can also use it separately through like a Chrome extension. So basically, when you're calling the Kixie Power List, you can have a list of a bunch of leads and it'll just call through them really, really quickly. So it'll call hundreds and hundreds of leads a day, and you can call like 4 to 5 of them at a time. So it just allows you to call way quicker and get way more answers. It's amazing stuff. So that's where we're essentially adding them. So you're calling these leads in combination with your new leads, right? So you're calling your list that just grows. You're gonna eventually have a list of hundreds of people, and you're just calling them constantly, right? We have a list of thousands of people in our agency, so this just gets added to this power list. The automations, these are through Go High Level. So as you guys can see, like the yellow, all of that stuff is Go High Level. So we're going to be sending them follow-up emails, follow-up texts, all these different things to try to get them to manually set an appointment on our calendar. So there's essentially 2 ways we can get in contact with someone. They answer the phone or they book an appointment on our calendar, right? So these automations get them to try to book an appointment. The power list tries to get them to answer the phone, right? So again, they book the appointment, they don't buy, they get added to the power list to follow up with later, and they get sent follow-up automations. So they're either going to book on our calendar and then eventually buy, go down, handwritten letter, payment reminders, all that stuff, right? So essentially, let's go through it from the top. I've started to kind of break this down. It should be making a little bit more sense, but let me show you guys what it looks like the other side of this. So Facebook lead comes in, they go into our CRM, we call them from the Kixie dialer. Let's say they don't answer this time. So no, they don't answer. They're going to get sent automations, text and email, right? And then basically, some of these people will book appointments from the automations, some of them will not. But they're going to be added to our power list. So we're calling the power list constantly, right? If they answer, boom, we go into the script. If they buy, we send them the handwritten letters. If they don't buy, we add them back into the power list and send them follow-up emails. That's essentially how this works, right? So let's look at any situation. Lead comes in, goes to CRM. They do answer. Script, we set the appointment. They show up to the appointment. We end up closing them. We send them the handwritten letter. Then we send them the payment reminders. If they pay their bill, we send them holiday texts like 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that kind of stuff to kind of keep them nurtured, keep them engaged. And if they don't pay their bill, we follow up with them to try to get them back on the books for a chargeback, right? Let's look at another example. Lead comes in, we call them through Kixie and the CRM. They don't answer. They get sent all of these automations. We add them to the power list. We call them later. They do answer. And then we go through the script. We close them. Boom. So everything, all roads lead to Rome, which is them buying a policy and paying their damn bill, right? So essentially, that is kind of the way this whole system is structured. Is we have all these moving pieces that connect to each other, all these automations that just like work in harmony to move somebody down along the line to where they're eventually buying. So what does this actually look like for the agent on a day-to-day basis? What is the agent doing? So the agent is always calling through Kixie, right? Kixie's great. I can leave a link below in the description for you guys. It's like $200 a month, 100% worth it though, if you guys are going to be doing this life insurance thing full time. So you're calling your new leads, you're calling older leads, you're calling appointments, and you're calling follow-up. These are essentially the 4 things that you're working on. New leads, old leads, appointments, follow-up. Old leads is just the power list, right? So again, you're using Kixie to do all of that because Kixie is going to give you more leverage because more people are going to answer the phone. So, ladies and gentlemen, that there is essentially the entire 55K per month system. And the 55K month was with like 2 producers. So we're doing about 20K a week. We're on pace to do 80 this next month. So yeah, this system is going to scale us to $100 million. Hopefully you guys got value from this. See ya.